to an audience and get them to hear your story, your situation in life. And I was watching the room for you and trying to take a pulse of what I was sensing from the group. And it's very difficult to do. I remember one time I read a book called The Psychology of an Audience, and that was just incredibly difficult to read, and I didn't understand anything. But it's simpler when I put it in terms of you have to understand who is out there that you're talking to. For instance, you have John Ruck. Is obviously, his mind is a really dangerous territory. So you have to bust through a whole lot to get them to see what you're trying to tell them. And today, I'm thinking of as a helpful or something to think about would be Stephen Covey's message, which is to seek to understand and then be understood. Now that's a convoluted way of looking at it, but the audience has to be there. That audience has to be along with you. And I think there's a lot of teachers here. I think Chad's speech was a good teacher for us and how he brought us along. Now, what you used was the dramatic effect of turning the lights off. That was dramatic. I mean, I snuck up behind and turned the light switch off, and I don't think too many people knew that was going to happen. And they reacted. And, maybe it was a short enough time that they really didn't get a feel for where you were wanting them to go with that information. But it was an opening that you used to bring us into your world. And then the speech went to a different area of how do I perform on a daily basis? How do I address what goes on with that? And I think that if I was to take a broad view and look at it, how do you talk to us and what draws us in? I have to look at it as a mystery. And it's a process that you keep coming back, and you use each speech as just a part of the process and listen to other speakers and how they do it. But overall, what I saw maybe that could have been embellished or added to would be stories. A story is what brings me right into your world. And I think of my own stories, my own limitations. For instance, I think of if I have a physical thing that is starting to develop, it would be my hearing is starting to kind of fade away. And I look at what the doctors how they're communicating to me, and none of them have grabbed me and got me into the office to get checked. But that's the process that I have to look at. And so stories, metaphors that we can all relate to, and then you use some of this humor in the whole thing.